Hey there everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Sam from the Midweek Fixture, and today we're going to be going over my 6-month out projections of what I think the U.S. Men's National Team World Cup 2022 roster will look like. There are a few surprises on here for some new guys and some old guys returning, so you're going to want to watch till the end of the video because there's a surprise in every single category, it feels like. Before I get into the regular video, I just wanted to address the last video that I put out. I really just wanted to say thank you to everybody for watching that, as well as hello and welcome to all the new viewers, all the new subscribers. It's been mind-blowing, absolutely phenomenal to see the success that that CONCACAF Champions League final video actually had. Like right now, as I'm recording the video, we have now over 200 subscribers, which is over 100 new people added to the channel since I last made a video. So I wanted to give like the biggest welcome possible to all of you, and I hope that you enjoyed the rest of the content. I have like 25 other videos from the past that you can check out as well. I just wanted to say thank you again for all that. It's really been awesome, and I'm hoping that over the summer we can keep up with that momentum and really keep going on it. Before we get into my picks, I want you to go ahead and put in the comments who you think is your surprise, your dark horse to be on the roster, and then go ahead and see who I put and see if we agree, or if we don't, you know, we'll have a conversation about it in the comments. So that'd be really cool. Also go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and of course share the video. Now let's get into the video, finally. Alright, and the first category that we have, always starting in the back on things like these, you gotta start out with the goalkeepers. So I have 3 goalkeepers, and the first 2 I think are expected from a lot of people, Zach Steffen and Matt Turner. Both of these guys have stood out over this last cycle, basically the premier 2 goalkeepers that we have fighting for that #1 spot. Personally, I think Zach Steffen will be the starter in the World Cup, as long as he's not injured and hopefully getting more game time over next season with a loan or a move. But I do think Zach Steffen will be starting in the World Cup. He fits Greg's system better in my opinion, and I think Greg agrees with that. He seems to have a little bit more confidence in Zach in bigger games, as we saw Zach Steffen started in the game against Mexico, both home and away. I would definitely not have any problems with Matt Turner being the starter in Qatar though. He's just not as much of a ball-playing goalkeeper, which is okay. I do prefer Zach Steffen. But my third goalkeeper is Gaga Slonina, which might be a surprise to some, might not. I personally think it's a bit of a surprise. I think that Greg is willing to give him this third spot, and I actually do think that Greg really believes that Gaga Slonina is the third best goalkeeper for the United States. He's playing every week in MLS, and he's doing really well. And his competitors, Ethan Horvath and Sean Johnson really isn't having that great of a season so far in MLS. He is playing, and Ethan Horvath is really not playing much at Nottingham Forest. 2 things there for Gaga Slonina that are pluses is he's playing well when his competitors aren't, and I believe that he has the trust of Greg. I think that Greg can convince Gaga to play for the United States instead of Poland if he says, hey, I'm going to put you on the World Cup squad if you choose us. He doesn't have to guarantee that the kid is going to play, but I do think that that would be something that would sway Gaga to play for the United States if he needs swaying at all. I would also like to note before we move on to the other positions, this is for a roster projection of 26 players. It's still not official, but it's looking highly likely that FIFA is going to allow a expanded roster at the World Cup. So this is looking for a 26 player roster rather than a 23. For the next topic, we have center backs, and as you can see, I have 5. I would say that 2 of these guys are locks on this roster right now. Walker Zimmerman and Chris Richards, in my opinion, are locks, and I do think they will be the starting center backs in Qatar, which I really don't have a problem with for the most part. One of the big surprises that you're going to see on here is I think John Brooks is going to get back into favor with Greg at some point, maybe during the summer with the Nations League or the friendlies, and I think he's going to make this roster, especially with the terrible Miles Robinson injury that he just recently had where he tore his Achilles. He is 100% out for the World Cup. there's no way somebody's recovering in 6 months to play on the world's biggest stage with a torn Achilles. So I think John Brooks is going to be that reluctant fifth center back that Greg is going to bring. I believe that Greg is going to bring Aaron Long. He seems to really favor Aaron Long. I know that he's in his first season back from an Achilles injury. He actually is really not playing badly for New York Red Bulls. He's actually playing quite well, and I think that that'll lend his hand for Greg to pick him, along with a bit of favoritism there. And then I really do think that Eric Palmer-Brown, EPB, I think that he's going to make this roster. I don't think Mark McKenzie is really as much in favor with Greg as people think anymore, as well as I don't think that Cameron Carter-Vickers, whenever he comes in this summer, most likely, I don't think that he's going to get the attention or the appreciation from Greg as I think he really should. So these are my 5 center backs. John Brooks and Eric Palmer-Brown are kind of my 2 more surprising picks. Overall, I do believe that this is our best 5 center backs that we have, except for I would switch Aaron Long for a healthy Miles Robinson any day of the week. But we don't have a healthy Miles Robinson, so here he is. On to fullbacks, we have basically 3 fullbacks that everybody would expect. Serginho Dest and DeAndre Yedlin playing on the right side as right backs. Anthony Robinson on the left as the starting left back. But I think that Joe Scally, if he gets a chance in this upcoming Nations League and friendlies, and I really think that he's going to be there. He's already been brought into a camp once. He did not play. Apparently he is out of favor with Greg and they didn't like him, but I really think this will be his shot if he's able to get into this Nations League roster. I think he's going to show that he really can play. The kid's young. He's played, I think, close to 20, if not more than 20 games in the Bundesliga this season. He's had varying results here and there, but I really think that he could be a serviceable backup, maybe even you could consider him a third string fullback. I really think that he can definitely do that for this upcoming World Cup roster. With Serginho Dest being able to play on both sides, it would not be ideal to have Dest on the left with Yedlin on the right, but it is doable, and personally I would do that over a Scally on the left and Dest on the right. But having Joe Scally there does offer a bit more dynamism, you could say, than having somebody like a Reggie Cannon. So I prefer Joe Scally. I think he's going to do something this summer or maybe early next season to really find himself kind of creeping into that roster on the backside in those 24 to 26 spots on the roster. All right, midfielders. Again, we have a lot of the normal suspects. World Cup qualifying really helped us feel out, as long as everybody's healthy, who will be that core group of players. But really, World Cup rosters are down to, in the past, like that last 19th to 23rd guy. In this case, it's down to that last like 20 or 21st to 26th guy. Those last 6 spots are always the spots that really make up the roster. And in this case, I have George Mihalovic. The kid is on fire both last season and even better this season in MLS. He's putting together what could be an MVP season in MLS right now with 5 goals and 4 assists. He's really just upped his game so far to where I think if he doesn't move to Europe sometime before next MLS season, that is going to be a big disappointment in my opinion. The kid has what it takes to play in Europe. He's still only 23 years old, just like a lot of the guys in our midfield, and I really think that he adds a lot to this midfield. But he's a really good option off the bench in my opinion, and from the reports that I've heard, he will be invited to the Nations League roster upcoming in June, and if he can make a good impact or show the coaching staff how good of a player he is, I really think that he can have a lock on that last midfield spot. And then last but not least, of course, we have the forwards and the wingers, the front 3, the goal scorers. Everybody up front that you'd want to see is here. You got Christian Pulisic, Giovanni Reyna, Tim Weah, Brendan Aronson, Jesus Ferreira. Everybody's here that you want to see is here. As well as I have a couple of guys here that may not be on people's radar or may not be as wanted in the team. I think Paul Arriola is going to make this team, and I think he's going to beat out Roldan and Morris to that favoritism spot, as we all like to call it. I prefer him over those 2 guys, and I personally think that Greg does as well. He has shown on the field, in my opinion, that he is a better player than those guys. He does offer a little bit more than those guys do. I think he's having a better MLS season on a really good FC Dallas team this year. Pairing pairing up with Jesus Ferreira as well, they have that chemistry from this season. I don't think Paul Arriola is going to start any World Cup games, but I do think he can be more serviceable than other guys that would get into that last spot like Roldan or Morris. And then you can also see just below him, I do have Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent is on my roster, but it is very dependent on where he goes or if he stays with Norwich. Personally, I would like him to stay at Norwich and play in the championship, and I think that he will make this roster without a doubt if he stays with Norwich and he scores more than 6 goals in the championship before November. So he has roughly 2.5 to 3 months to score 6 goals in the championship with a Norwich team that every time they go down, they dominate the championship and they score a lot of goals. I think Josh Sargent will be on this roster if he has that confidence and has a few goals under his belt in the championship. And then for my third striker, you could say Josh Sargent was my third striker, but for my other striker, I have Ricardo Pepi. Of course, Pepi is not in great form with Augsburg. He has not scored a goal in, I think it's now like almost 8 or 9 months. He needs confidence to play, and he, in my opinion, he needs a loan away from Augsburg, or he needs support for him to actually go and score the goal. He was playing really well last season when Jesus Ferreira was basically putting the ball on a silver plate for him and giving him those opportunities. In Germany, he's not going to have that opportunity playing for a team like Augsburg. He needs to go to some team that's going to give him service, and he's going to have confidence and be able to score. And then another thing with having 8 forwards or wingers is that 2 of these guys can actually play in the midfield. So Giovanni Reina and Brendan Aronson can both play in the middle in midfield, which is good for us because that offers a bit of variability, you could say, in our roster. It seems like it's forward and winger heavy, but realistically the forward and the midfielders overlap a lot in that case, to where you could realistically say in my roster that I just set up here, we have 8 midfielders and 8 forwards because 2 of those guys are very interchangeable in those spots. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video, my breakdown of who I want to see in my World Cup roster, who I predict to see in my World Cup roster 6 months from the World Cup. I might do another one of these 3 months out or 1 month out to see if anything really changed with everything. And then again, I wanted to say thank you to everybody for just the amount of support that I've gotten basically over the last week, and a very big welcome to everybody new to the channel. I really do hope that you enjoy the coming up content, and you stick around and, you know, comment on my videos. I want to talk to everybody. Yeah, go ahead and leave a comment who you think your surprise for your roster is upcoming, as well as go ahead and leave a like and subscribe for more content, and go ahead and share it as well if you feel like it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you, everybody.